YouTube, what's good? Staples9 here back again with another video. And SummerSlam is a few weeks away, a couple weeks away. The biggest party of the event, the biggest event party, whatever the heck you want to call it, of the summer is a couple weeks away. And if you saw my review series back in March/April of this past year, you will know that I reviewed every single WrestleMania for leading up to WrestleMania 30. And I'm going to be doing the same thing this month, a couple weeks, multiple videos a day for SummerSlam. And SummerSlam, I will say, it's not my favorite pay-per-view, but it's still up there. I mean, I'd rank it fourth behind WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, and Money in the Bank. So it's a close fourth. But anyways, we're going to start out with SummerSlam. Yeah, SummerSlam reviews, and yeah, I'm going to review, let me start that again. I'm going to be reviewing every single SummerSlam from now until 2013. I think I reviewed 13 last year, but I'm going to do it again this year because that's what I do. Because that's what I do. Anyway, so let's get started with the very first SummerSlam, which happened in 1988. And the first match of SummerSlam 1988 was the British Bulldogs, Davey Boy Smith and the Dynamite Kid against the fabulous Rougeau brothers, Raymond Rougeau and Jacques Rougeau. And this match was a fast-paced and tough all the way throughout, with the Rougeaus possibly looking the best that they ever have at this point. Some of the highlights includes Smith's cartwheel from a monkey flip attempt, Dynamite Kid's snap suplex, and probably the move of the night is Davey Boy Smith's gorilla press on Jacques Rougeau over the top rope. The match ends with a illogic time draw. With a time draw before Dynamite Kid pins Rougeau after a lovely double team move, rocket launcher headbutt move. Yeah, it would have scored more if it wasn't for such a lousy ending. Stupid time draw. It makes no sense at all. Anyway, that's the first match. The next match, we get Ken Patera versus Bad News Brown. Patera was a veteran heel in the WWF before an incident involving McDonald's. Made sure he went to prison for a couple of years, which made no sense at all. Unfortunately, by this point, Patera had become a jobber to the Stars, though it wasn't quite a squash match. I watched this and thought he did pretty good for what it was worth, but not too much because Bad News Brown got the win with his ghetto blaster. The origins of Bad News. Bad news, if you know what I'm saying. Now we get the Powers of Pain against the Bolsheviks. The Bolsheviks start with the obligatory Russian national anthem before the Barbarian and the Warlord, with no manager, with one-time only manager, the Baron, who was Baron von Raschke. I think that's what his name is, Baron von Raschke. Charged through the ring and disrupted them. The match would end when Barbarian hits the flying headbutt on Boris the other guy not named Nikolai Volkov. Now we get the mystery challenger, probably the stupidest match of the night. We get the Honky Tonk Man giving an open challenge for his Intercontinental Championship. And out comes the Ultimate Warrior. He answers the call to wrestle the Honky Tonk Man. Yeah, it's pretty much just a squash match, and it's absolutely ridiculous. The fact that the Ultimate Warrior had to end the longest reigning Intercontinental Championship reign in 31 seconds. 31 seconds, over a year long, and the Ultimate Warrior wins in 31 seconds. Absolutely ridiculous. Probably the stupidest match of the night, in my opinion. Now we get Don Muraco against Dino Bravo. Nothing really too special. Just a back-and-forth match. The match ended when Muraco gets distracted, nearly knocking the referee over when he's picking up Bravo up enough for Bravo to nail him with a side suplex and get the win. Then surprisingly enough, this would be Don Muraco's last match ever in the WWF. Now we get to the tag title match. The Hart Foundation, Bret the Hitman Hart, and Jim the Anvil Neidhart against Axe and Smash of Demolition. And this was quite a good title match that showed the Hart Foundation getting into the face side of things. Some of the highlights include the agility of Jim Neidhart doing drop kicks throughout the match, getting slingshot the apron by Bret onto Smash and a double team Irish whip, shoulder charge. The match ends with Axe hitting Bret with the megaphone of Jimmy Hart, who was their manager at the time. When he attempts to pile driver on Smash, the foreign object ending would dog the Foundation for the rest of their careers, and the two tag teams would face each other exactly 2 years later. And we'll get to that in a little bit. Now, Koko B. Ware is up against the Big Boss Man. On his debut, the Boss Man looks very much out of shape, but he will get more fitter as time continues. Koko B. Ware is this early on his WWF career, knows exactly what his role is and does it very well over the next 5 years or so. Despite the valiant attempts, the match ends when Koko gets dumped over the top rope but hangs onto the turnbuckle. By the time he gets into the ring, he gets hit with a Boss Man Slam for the pin. 1, 2, 3. The Big Boss Man is your winner of this match. Now we get Jake the Snake Roberts against Hercules Hernandez. And this would be the last pay-per-view to see Hercules Hernandez as a heel for over 2 years. Funny spot happens when Jake Roberts blocks all of Hercules' punching offense, and Hercules gets irritated and tries to sucker punch, but gets blocked as well. Superstar Billy Graham and Gorilla Monsoon speculate that Heenan isn't with Hercules for the match. And after a couple attempts at the DDT, Jake the Snake Roberts eventually hits the DDT and pins Hercules in a rare clean win for Jake the Snake Roberts. Which brings us to the main event. The Mega Powers, Hulk Hogan and the Macho Man Randy Savage against the Mega Bucks, the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, and Andre the Giant. The match starts when the guest referee, Jesse the Body Ventura, gains control by sending everyone out of the ring and changing the tag ropes for some reason. I don't know why. Andre wasn't in the best physical shape for this match, so Ted DiBiase carried most of it. The match ends when Elizabeth goes to the ring apron and removes her skirt to distract Andre and Ted DiBiase, so Hulk Hogan and Macho Man could ambush them. Macho Man drops the elbow on Ted, and Hogan drops the leg on him afterwards for the pin. The commentators are teasing a heel turn by Jesse Ventura, but actually remains impartial for the most part, showing hesitation by counting the last pins at the end. You can tell, you can't help feeling that Savage was shortchanged during his reign as champion, because even at this point, he was clearly overshadowed by the Hulkster. As things are, the Mega Powers hit their honeymoon period, and yeah, it pretty much went all downhill from there. Overall, the event was okay, but the booking seemed a little bit haphazardly. The constant advertising of some boxing match, the Leonard versus Ladonna boxing match, didn't help either. The commentating suffers without Jesse the Body Ventura. Billy Graham was not a good substitute. Absolutely. It was a okay pay-per-view. I'm going to give this pay-per-view a 5 out of 10. Best match of the night was probably the main event, the Mega Powers and the Mega Bucks, and the worst match of the night was probably the Intercontinental title match, Honky Tonk Man versus the Ultimate Warrior. Yeah, that's SummerSlam 1988. Coming up next, 1989.